Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching, listening, streaming. Welcome back to 343. My name's Jason. For the loyal fans, it might seem a bit strange. Normally, we have AF running it. He had messaged me in the week saying, his team's been doing bad. He wants to maybe change things up. Maybe it influences results. So I will be taking a bit of a front chair today. And yeah, as I mentioned, I'm joined by AF. I'm joined by Riyaz. Guys, how are we doing?
Could be better after that intro.
Great, to be honest. Quite great.
Lovely, lovely. So as I'm looking at my screen, right, I've got AF on my left, I've got Riyaz on my right, and yeah, it was actually how it was pitted up last week, isn't it? Little Spurs against United. Game week 2 gone, done and dusted. What are the thoughts on it? I think, Riyaz, let's start with you, seeing as it was a good win for your side, man.
It's surprising. I don't think I've smiled on the podcast as much as I am now, but yeah, it was a good game. First half was a bit 50-50, maybe 60-40 United. They had a bit of a better first half. They should have scored, taken advantage of the opportunities. Should have had a penalty as well, I'll give you that. Handball by the Meadow in the box. But the second half, I think we completely outplayed them. We were way better. And I think on the whole, we deserved to win the game, which is surprising because I never say that about my team. And it's because we never deserve it. We never play well enough, and we played out of our skins, to be honest. I've never seen us play like it in 6 years. So I'm kind of really excited, and it's interesting because unfortunately, yeah, like I said, for the past 6 years, we've been playing counter-attacking football, passive football, and for the first time in a long time, it's good to see us playing some attacking football with possession for once. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it was quite interesting to watch. We watched it together, myself, AF, and Mobeen, and we're watching, and I'm sitting there, and I'm obviously not wanting to talk too highly of Spurs, being an Arsenal fan, but it looked like there was a decent amount of fluidity to the team, and I think also it was a big game knowing that Harry Kane has just recently left. So we're thinking it's your first real challenge since he's gone, and yeah, it actually looked like surprisingly good, and I think it might be the fact that nobody's really expecting much, that you now just get to express yourself in a manner that's not like, okay, you have Conte, you have Mourinho, you have all these guys. You've got Ange out of nowhere. Yeah, so it's looking like it's good. AF, any thoughts? Obviously, not wanting to talk too much about it, but go for it.
I think you hit the nail on its head over there. At the starting of the season, when I predicted my top 6 teams, like at the end of the season, I think I mentioned that Tottenham would probably struggle to get top 10.
We still will.
I mean, like I'm going to speak about like this one game that I watched religiously from start to finish. Yeah. There's some good chemistry happening over there. There's like the manager came in. It seems like his philosophy has been implemented. People's buying into it. They're playing some good football at the end of the day, and I think they surprised quite a few people with that performance. Don't get me wrong, United were utter trash on Saturday.
Only in the second half.
Yeah. There were so many misplaced passes in that first half, though. Like, I mean, off the back of that Wolves opener, they looked unprepared. They looked unfit. They looked lost. They looked like they were playing like a bunch of strangers playing with each other. It wasn't great. And the Tottenham game, it seems like they carried on in a sense. The play looked a bit better, but the finishing was horrible. I mean, Rashford had that chance, they hit a chance. Bruno, I mean, he should be closing his eyes and scoring that. He had enough time to bring that ball down and just tap it in. I think they overthinking things too much, but yeah, now kudos to Tottenham. Ange came in and he surprised everybody. And
I think that's where we won. I honestly believe, like I'm taking nothing away from Ten Hag, but I think in that specific game, in that 90 minutes, I think Ange, it was a manager diff, because I think that I don't understand the situation where we play Rashford up the middle, especially when Spurs is going to play with inverted fullbacks, and we have no width whatsoever somehow on the defense. So not playing Rashford wide, I think, was a bit of a misstep. And then taking him off to put on Martial, that made no sense. Why would you not take off another winger and put Rashford wide? Just to try it out, try something different. So I think the manager dip was a big thing in that game specifically. Because, like I said, I think we're still going to struggle because of that no width on the defense. And people will exploit that. But, yeah, it was just unfortunate, I guess, for United that we played really well in the second half. And Maddison has been a godsend somehow.
Yeah, no, definitely. What a guy.
God, wild, actually. Hey, if just to go back to you, man, I'm listening, and it seems like there was a lack of preseason. It seems like everybody just looks undercooked. I think last season we're talking about Man United signing Casemiro, he's old and stuff. And he showed last season that he was able to actually kick it. But is it maybe a lack of midfield structure that's happening that's exposing him? Because he's looking like he had a very good holiday and he just hasn't turned up yet.
Yeah, no, that the midfield three that we are currently playing with Casemiro, Mount, and Bruno. Casemiro's never ever going to be good enough in that midfield. He's going to get run over.
Yeah.
Last season we had the interchanging McTominay, Fred, and who else played? Eriksen.
Eriksen,
right? So yes, Eriksen, he doesn't really break up play all too well, but McTominay and Fred, they have that strength in midfield. Fred, it's no secret, I love the guy. He's that guy that can break up play quite easily, and he puts the opponents on the back foot the moment you see him running at you. He's going to try hacking you and stuff, and that's the type of things that Casemiro needs. Yes, he's strong in midfield and everything, but he's not going to do it alone with Mount and Bruno. Bruno attacking minded, Mount attacking minded. It's there's not enough balance in that midfield, in my opinion.
Then who comes in to help out Casemiro in the middle? Do you guys have anybody on the bench?
We spent 68 million on Mount, so instead of buying another midfielder to replace Fred. So I don't know. Like we linked with Sophia and Amrabat for like how long? 3-4 months now, and everybody thought Fred going out would free up funds to basically bring his the transfer in, and that hasn't happened. So your guess is as good as mine. I don't know who comes in. McTominay is still at the club. Maybe he should just do that for now until we get some sort of solidity in that midfield.
Yeah, it is somewhat of a stopgap, isn't it? You're just putting a plaster over the bigger issue that maybe the replacements and maybe the outgoings is not what most of the fans wanted. I think Den Haag, much like Arteta, Pep, they see this play and they see the vision for him within the whole system, with a specific system. Maybe Mount needs a few more, It's obviously tough, but it's also only the second game week. I think Bruno's needing to push forward because there's no real front line. And I think Rashford's very isolated there. You're losing your best player in a position that is not really where he wants to be and maybe where he's most effective. And that forces Bruno to go. And obviously, like you had mentioned, Mount isn't very defensively minded. And I think Casemiro has been hung out to dry. It was an interesting game. And I think it's good because those sort of games really put the pressure into the whole occasion, right? I think those games previously, I think it was the first time Spurs beat United at the new Tottenham Stadium, so that's like something. It was interesting, man. Looking at the other results, right? So we had started with Nottingham Forest on Friday against Sheffield.
Before you carry on, I'm sorry that I didn't take a picture of it, but Jason was actually wearing a United jersey on Saturday night in support of Manchester United.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Look, if there's no picture, then it didn't happen, isn't it, Riyaz? So it's his word against mine.
Don't count if you're wearing a United t-shirt. Don't count to me for support. No.
No, look, pal, I wouldn't be caught dead, especially when they have Rashford up front. Yeah, no, it was a tad bit tense there. As soon as the game was done, I was like, okay, look here. I think I actually need to go home now because this guy is gonna make me train for like the CDM role. He's probably gonna make me run up and down the steps there. But yeah, look, I think rather get it out now. And okay, it's not fun to lose against like a top 6 rival, but get all of the bad stuff out. I think it's not necessary to show true form in the second game week. I think if anything, Arsenal showed that last season, and at the end of it, we have nothing to show for except maybe the fact that we're back in Champions League.
And United lost 4-0 in the second week last season. So
yeah, so they actually might be staying true to form, right? Because they had a shoddy start last season. They're gonna have a shoddy start this season. They'll pick up when it matters, and they'll still secure top 4, maybe top 5. But yeah, there were some interesting results, right? So we're looking at Saturday's results. We've got Brentford, who had a 3-0 win. We had Liverpool. It was a bit of a cagey game, I think. Also trying out a new system. I think the goal came from...
I think 3FOUR3 had the spotlight in that game, eh?
Yeah, 3FOUR3 definitely had, but I think 3FOUR3 had the spotlight the whole weekend, and I think the referees as well had the spotlight the whole weekend. And I feel like that should just be like a standing segment in every episode that we have, right? It's like, okay, can we look at how many decisions happen that influence the game, right, in a negative way? Yeah. Did you guys catch anything Saturday?
What were you going to say about the Liverpool game? You were going to say something about the Liverpool game?
No, I was just going to say that it started with, I think Bournemouth's goal came from Trent coming inside and just, miscontrolling the ball, and things happen. So
that's 2 in 2 weeks from Trent. 2 in 2 weeks from the right-hand side again.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put that out there.
It is interesting, right? Obviously, it's a very new system. It's a player coming into a role that maybe he's not too familiar with, but I think it does highlight that it's not going to be this quick thing. And while it might work in pre-season, I think the Prem is a bit more ruthless, right? I think we saw Salah miss that pen and score. We saw Luis Diaz. We saw Jota.
Diaz is a player, though.
What are our thoughts on that game? What are our thoughts going forward? Do you think Liverpool now revert back to just a normal thing, or they're just going to go with still trying to invert? Any of you guys? Yeah, I think it's okay. Go for it.
I think they're trying to push that invert fullback positioning so much more now because of how their midfield is actually set up. They lost quite a few players over there, and they are unable to bring in the players that they want. I mean, Caicedo gone to Chelsea, Lavia gone to Chelsea. They brought in Endo quite recently, 30-year-old guy. So I don't actually know much about him. But
now at his age, 30-year-old.
Because bringing in a 30-year-old guy, that's very unlike Jurgen Klopp. Like it goes against his normal recruitment method. He likes to buy the players young so that they can stay longer at the club and basically just be beneficial for the club. So them buying a 30-year-old, it doesn't seem like a Jurgen Klopp buy. It might just be like, okay, you want a midfielder, we'll get you a midfielder.
They need a midfielder.
Sorry, Riyaz?
Yeah. They need a midfielder, not that they want one. They need one badly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've had multiple outgoings. Fabinho's not just any midfielder. He's been a huge cog in the machine for a while now, and it's they need to replace him. I mean, I saw Amrabat is now linked with Liverpool as well. If we lose him to Liverpool, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. But yeah, going back to the original point, the fullbacks are inverting because they need to cover that midfield. They need to ensure that midfield has the stability so that they don't get run over. and they aren't doing a bad job at it. But I feel like Trent gets caught out more often than not because it just feels like he goes in and then he's too slow to come back out. So he leaves that entire side wide open.
But I think that's also why they didn't think they needed to strengthen as much as they clearly need to do, because I think that's what the way Klopp wanted to play this season, with Trent as a midfielder. So to play Trent and McAllister, I think together was his plan. But clearly, I don't know if it's going to work out very well for them, because like I have said, they get caught out all the time on that side, because Konate is not quick enough to, because they have to, they go back to a 3. Because Robertson also isn't as high as he used to be. They're playing now basically as a 3 at the back with Robertson, Virgil, and Konate, and then they're getting exposed because Trent doesn't come back as he should, or not as quick enough. Which is, I don't know if they need a right back and playing Trent in the middle, or if they just need to buy a midfielder and stop playing that inverted way. I don't know what they're going to do this season, but I feel like going forward, that's going to be an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go for it.
Then you have the whole thing about Mo Salah as well. I mean, like, he wasn't happy after that substitution in game week 1, and then all those rumors came out about being linked to the Saudi league, and it doesn't seem like those rumors are going away. So that has the potential to harm Liverpool, even if it's not even true. Like, those rumors can get into a player's head.
That's true. I feel like he can go and the Liverpool won't miss much. To be honest, they'll still outscore the opponent, which is what they try and do, and they might get or play a better defensive winger, which will help them at the back, because that's his side. Trent's side is his side, Salah's side, but he never comes back, so they're exposed. But yeah, you are right. The transfers can get in their heads. We saw what happened with Kane when he didn't go to City. He was down tools for like the first couple of matches that he played. But yeah, Jason, what do you think about Liverpool? It's
interesting, right? Obviously, I think the media jumped on the fact that they saw the whole thing at like Chelsea, and then I think that's when the first few rumors started like coming about, right? Then it started growing with some strength. It's a quick way to sow some doubt. It could filter into the squad, it could not. I think that I have to disagree. I think they will miss him if he leaves. I think he has a very, I wouldn't say unassuming, because everybody knows about Mo, but there's something about him that I don't think they can quickly replace. I think it was similar with Mane, and I think Salah then had to bear most of it, and to his credit, he stepped up pretty well. It is going to be interesting. I think with the Fabinho loss, and I don't really like to give Jordan Henderson quite a bit of time, right? Because I always thought that most of his work that he did on the field was as a result of his own errors. But I think having Henderson kind of covered Trent's lack of defensive qualities. So hopefully Endo comes in, slots in, and he can maybe cover, and then Trent can then give it, because I think losing Robertson as an attacking asset down that left, where they have Diaz, Robertson bombing there, and then also losing Trent being able to cross from like the right hand side, like just inside his half, those sort of passes. I think it is going to be big.
But also that Jordan Henderson leadership quality. I mean, that is huge for Liverpool. That is huge. There were so many times that they were down in the dumps. They looked lost for answers, and he basically just uplifts the mood in the entire team.
He won in the title. He won in the title. Legitimately.
100%.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think maybe certain Liverpool fans might disagree with us. We obviously don't watch every game. But if I remember how Twitter and X used to go on, after Liverpool games, when Henderson would just be misplacing passes, losing his 5-yard passes, struggling to get out the first. I think they might disagree, but definitely that leadership aspect, especially because I think he signed under Kenny Dalglish, right? So he's been part and parcel of the whole transition. So after Gerrard left, he was the guy that came in, and it's like he formed part of the spine as it went, right? And into the Klopp era, and now he's out, and okay, Klopp's still going on. I think we're just going to segue a bit to another very impressive team. And we're not talking about Spurs because we've had Spurs already, but we're going to talk about Brighton. First game against Luton, I think it was 5-1, 4-1 maybe. And then second game against Wolves, which it's not an easy place to go to, right? And they literally went there and had a practice match. Did you guys catch any of it? Did we see Matomo solo? Did we see our wonderful FPL asset Estupina get into the butts there? What are thoughts on Brighton going forward? AF.
Yes, you can go for it first.
Okay. Brighton have picked up from where they left off last season. They play amazing football. Even Pep said they play the best football in the league or something. I must quote that. Paraphrase that, but
that's just a standard Pep. Yeah, it probably says that about the refs as well. Probably the best players in every game. Yeah.
But yeah, they've been playing free flowing football. It's really amazing to watch. I think I only got one game of the past two, but nothing has changed. They don't even have amazing players. Like Matoma is amazing, but I mean, like, it's more the cohesion of the team. So in that team, it's like the sum is greater than the sum of its parts, or whatever. The whole is greater. So they've been playing really well. And I thought they were last season. They were a lot more defensively frail. They look to be quite decent on the defense this season. Something must have changed there. They must have worked on something. But we'll only, I guess, see how good they can be when they play against a top 6 team. I think that's going to be very interesting because I think that they will really challenge for top 4 this season.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. It's the football that they're playing is so amazing. Like, I watched the game this past weekend, and Matoma is an incredible football player. Like, wow. That and Brighton keeps on doing this. They keep finding these gems, and then they sell them for like 80, 90, 100 million. I mean, their books must be looking amazing. Like, maybe one day Nikita can do like a bit of a deep dive on that, just like talk about it from a financial aspect. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, De Zerbi just looks like he's getting better with every game. He's in one season and a bit into the job. If you compare that to Ten Hag, I mean, it's chalk and cheese. Like the type of football that De Zerbi is playing it's like really good football, and he's losing all of his stars, and he's still managing to put out a 10 out of 10. Solly March as well. Underrated. The guy is just coming through every game week, and like it feels like they're playing with no pressure on them, and that's the best ingredient that they could have right now.
Yeah, for real, man. And okay, maybe we need to see them now that they have European football, right? We'll see what that sort of dynamic does, because I don't think they have a massively deep squad. They have a good, I think, maybe 18 players, and then the quality sort of drops off. But as Riyaz says, it's the cohesion that they're showing. It's the sum being better than individual parts. I think De Zerbi is such a great manager in that he came and he stuck to his identity. I think when Pep first joined, people were like, okay, but is he going to be able to do it in the Prem? Can he do this playing out to the back? What is this? Can he do it at Stoke? I think De Zerbi's come. He's at a team that maybe didn't have the expectations that maybe Ten Hag's had at Man United, which is also like you say, it's like people didn't expect anything. And then he starts to do these things, right? But yeah, I think the test that they have, or the first real test, maybe comes game week 4. I think they have Newcastle at home. Interesting game. Newcastle also flying.
Yeah.
So that will be an interesting one. It's also going into an international break, so it will be interesting to see how the teams really go. But yeah, I think Brighton is such a joy to watch because they play with this freedom, right? And I think everybody understands where they have to be, at what time, when to press, when to play. And it's also just a confidence in a system where, okay, if it's not going to work once, and I think we've seen it where maybe Lewis Dunk slipped up last season, or even Jason Steele trying to actually play from the back. But that's all of these things that you have to overcome, and that's all the things that you have to unfortunately go through. I think there were many instances where Allison tried to play out from the back. He got caught, Edison, all of these things. So it's just really these teething things that need to just go through. But yeah, it looks really exciting. And I definitely agree. It's going to be an interesting season to see where they challenge and where they actually compete and actually take more points off the teams in and around them. Because I think that's how they actually get up. It's fine beating your Wolves and beating your Bournemouths and your Brentfords, but can you take points off Liverpool consistently? Can you take off City, Arsenal, United, those sort of things, you know? Another thing, right, that I really do want to address, and we'll jump forward now to Sunday's fixtures, is Chelsea. So I was actually wanting to make this comment earlier. You were saying that Liverpool have now come in for Amrabat. Don't rule out Chelsea. Coming in and just offering a 12-year contract, offering a 12-year contract over like multiple payments. We see them go into this not North London derby, but rather London derby against West Ham. And for everything, I think they look pretty intriguing. And then the 7th minute they concede. Did we catch the game? Because I had watched a bit of it, and there were parts where they looked really good. But then there were times where they just looked really shoddy. And I think coupled with the fact that they brought on their 100 mil signing, Mudryk, and then they brought on their other 100 mil signing, Caicedo, and they still couldn't get the win. What is happening at Chelsea? What are we seeing? What are we expecting?
Hey, if you can take this one.
Can I just say that they paid 100 mil for Theo Walcott from Ukraine?
Speed for now. Look here, that's actually taking a bit from Walcott. Walcott's got a legacy. I think they may be paying. Who's another? I'm trying to think of another fast speed for brains. I honestly don't know, but okay, maybe let's go. Yeah, maybe with like a Ukraine Bolt. Yeah.
No, man, it's just like Chelsea isn't playing bad football. I'm going to be upfront. I'm going to be frank about it. Chelsea is not playing bad football, but they don't have enough leadership in that team. There's like I think what's the average age in that team? 24, 23.
I think it could be like 23,
they don't have many senior players.
Yeah,
they don't have many senior players, so there's nobody to really guide them into how to actually manage a game. Yes, a lot of these players, they have experience and stuff, but I mean, those like that game management that comes with more and more years in the Premier League, more and more years playing any type of football. But like I said, like I like what I'm seeing. They play some good football, and Poch is, like we all know, like Riyaz, you know that the most. Like Poch he's a good manager, he's a good coach. So Chelsea has the potential to become like really good. They have the potential to become a top 4 side consistently every season with Poch in charge. But yeah, I think West Ham just wanted it more, and West Ham, they have the likes of Mikel Antonio, they have Thomas Suchek, all these people that's been around the block already. So they have those like old brains, old minds in the team, how to manage the game, where to look for gaps and stuff. And I think that's where everything was won.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting one, right? And you also have the setup where you've got West Ham in all their height, and you've got James Ward-Prowse on set pieces. That's like, and now I think I saw in the week that they linked to Yusuf Al-Nazeri from Sevilla.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm convinced only scores goals with his head. Now you're getting James Ward-Prowse to work with, and you got that. That's like it's like a Moisey special, isn't it? Riyaz, obviously being familiar with Poch and having had him as that manager, what are we expecting for a response? I mean, not to say that this has happened often at Spurs, you know, where you spend a lot of money and then you play well but don't win. What are we looking at in the Chelsea team with the Poch coach?
Well, I think you see it already. Like I've said, like they're playing good football. So that's a good start. You'll get them playing well at least, because last season they played terribly. You never knew what they were going to get. You never knew who was going to play where. So Poch is going to give them identity at the very least, and being able to get them to play good football, which is the start. The results will come after that, maybe a couple of seasons. But I think the Chelsea team is way better than our team used to be, like way better. And they bought both Lavia and Caicedo. I'm not sure why, because Gallagher is pretty decent, and so is Enzo. So
I heard Gallagher's on his way out, though, apparently, according to the tweets.
I think it's for that atrocious man bun. I think that's why they're actually getting rid of it. But, it's more like a top knot, isn't it?
So they have people that play there. I just I like the way they play against Liverpool. I think they actually played better in that game against Liverpool in the first week. They used Chilwell really well on the wide. They switched between a 4 and a 3 very easily. And in the first game, it was very impressive to see. So I think you'll get them into an identity, get them playing well, and then I think the results will come. I think this weekend, with the addition of James Ward-Prowse, changed the game. He had 2 assists, and he's going to change the way they play altogether. And that's why I think West Ham will be safe this season. So it was a good result for West Ham. Chelsea teething problems, but they'll finish top 4, so they'll be okay. They'll start picking up wings as the season goes along, as they play together more and more. And I, to be honest, I hope for them that Caicedo and Mudryk both perform really well this season.
Can I tell you what 115 million got Chelsea on over the weekend? 45 minutes played, 1 shot off target, 7 times lost possession, 2 fouls, 0 interceptions, 1 error leading to a shot, and 1 penalty conceded.
Yeah, it's tough, eh? Stats are wild with it, and now he's got a 100 more price tag as well. I don't know. I think he's secured the bag. He's secured generational wealth for his family. Whatever he does now is just extra, isn't it? This is now just a hobby. His full-time job is gonna be a millionaire in probably like a few months' time. So that's okay.
In 3 years, you'll probably go to Saudi as well, and then you'll probably get even richer over there.
Yeah, so that's the generational wealth. So that's perfect. Also in London, we had Arsenal Crystal Palace. I'm not going to touch too much because, I think Declan Rice was imperious. I think he's a Rolls Royce there. A bit of a suspicious second yellow, but like I said, we could have a segment on referee decisions.
Shocking, really.
I think, watching that game, I don't like how we're setting up. I don't like that we're not playing very cohesive football. It's not very fluid. I think last season we started a house on fire, but I think also you really don't need to show your best hand in this first half of the season. You have to be up there. You have to be doing well to stay there. And I think as with City and as with Liverpool showed in previous seasons, you peak when you need to peak.
What didn't you like about the system? What didn't you like about it?
I think one of the key things that helped us last season was having the double up on Saka's side with Ben White going on the overlap. I think the system now restricts Ben White's overlapping potential.
Because Partey plays in the middle.
Yeah, because Partey plays right back now and he then inverts. And I think that's all to do with the fact that Zinchenko's not playing right now, because if we invert from the one side, we're going to invert from the other side. So with Zinchenko not being there, I don't think we're going to ask Tomiyasu to do something like that. And I think with Timber, we might have gotten away with it. Obviously, he's now injured. Zinchenko coming in, I think it maybe brings Gabriel back in. I think it brings Partey in. I think maybe Eddie Nketiah drops and we see Havertz go to the top.
You want that though?
I don't know. I think Eddie's shown quite a bit. I think he's quite, I think as with last season, he's now deputizing for Jesus. And I think he's doing okay. I think he goes for periods when he's not really involved. So the time when he gets involved in key areas, he's not as clinical. And I think that will grow, right? That will come. Havertz does well. And it's also, he comes with a hefty price tag. I think people are wanting for 65 mil, you have to just immediately start scoring, which it's not always the case.
Yeah, but he's not a striker. He's still not a
Yeah,
striker.
he's also a striker, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's playing in a new system where I think he's also maybe he's a bit shocked, you know, because Chelsea last season was some days this, some days that. I think when it does come, I think it will look good. For now, it just looks like there's a bit. I think we're a bit rigid, and we're kind of lacking that final thing, you know, that final step. But it will come. I'm okay with us being joint top. It's fine. Don't peak too early. Let us not show all of our cards right now. And yeah, maybe we sign somebody before. Maybe we integrate my long lost friend Nicholas Pepe back in there. But yeah, we'll see.
That's like hoping Tanguy and Ndombele is going to come back.
What's happening with Balogun?
I think there's offers from Monaco. I think a few teams in the Prem have also asked. I think AC also wanted it. It's
But
weird.
is there a reason why Arsenal don't really want to hold on to him?
I don't think we can hold on to him now after we offered Eddie a massive contract and we have Jesus and we've also got Harvard. So now I think with all the spending, you look at who you could possibly get off and maybe we'll put in a buyback clause, you know, once he starts. But I think he's probably the best product for us now to get a good solid. I think we could get 40 and up. If we're going to get less, then I'm a bit upset for that. But yeah, it's tough. But I also think we're in a fluidity now where if we're going to try and bring him back in, it might not work as well. And then we sort of lose a bit. That's just my opinion. Thankfully, I don't need to sit in the boardroom and make sort of decisions. You know, I can just guesstimate from where I'm at right now. Yeah. Do any of you guys need a striker, AF? I mean, yours is injured. Riyaz, yours just left.
We both of us need a striker.
Spurs, can I just say one thing? Spurs played like so well in that second half, but Richarlison, wow.
Wow. Might as well play without the 9. You don't need a 9.
He's the most unlucky forward at the moment because literally every rebound went just next to him. Every pass just out of his reach, and I'm like, yo. And he has a face that shows his dismay. Like he's got no poker face. He's upset when he miscontrols. He's upset when he makes a run. Nobody plays. It's the same face, and it's just upset. So yeah, I think for Spurs, give you good price 100 mil. United, good price 120. So if you want Balogun,
that's United tax, eh?
Yeah, that's a United tax, man. But yeah, just moving forward, we have a fair few interesting games coming up. We've got Chelsea Luton at home. That's going to be interesting on Friday night under the lights. Maybe Chelsea turn the season around a bit. We've got Arsenal Fulham, Spurs go to Bournemouth, United Nottingham, Brighton West Ham, which is so interesting. But I think for me, the pick of the fixtures has to be Super Sunday, Newcastle against Liverpool.
Yep.
I'm not too sure if you guys look forward into Game Week 3's fixtures. Do you have anything that stands out for you? Do you have any fixtures that possibly, could be of intrigue? I
don't think we've spoken about. I just want to say that I don't think we haven't spoken about Newcastle yet, which Wasim will crucify us for. But they've been really good, really good this season so far.
They have, and I think maybe let's maybe just jump into that quickly. With their game against Liverpool at home, what are we expecting? I mean, we've seen the first game against Villa, and okay, maybe the Villa team wasn't as great, but it's also the same system, right? They have a lot of aggression, they overload, and they have good transitions. And then in the City game, they showed their defensive qualities, and okay, 1-0. It was tight. It was really tight, and it took a very good goal from Julian Alvarez. Okay, Haaland was maybe a bit unlucky with a few chances and stuff, but I think they show that they have the fortitude to go away. But when they're at home, they show that they aren't afraid. So yeah, what are we looking at? Firstly, from a Newcastle perspective on going forward, but also Sunday's fixture. I think Liverpool, in their shakiness, in their defensive structure, and Newcastle with their all guns blazing sort of approach. Yeah, what are our previews? What are our thoughts on that game? And yeah, just also Newcastle as a whole.
It's going to
Yeah.
be it's going to be interesting to see how Newcastle sets up over there. If Harvey Barnes, I mean, he's been spectacular for Newcastle. Like every performance off the bench,
Yeah.
he just has that. He's playing with that order at the moment. He looks like he looks elevated from the time when he was at Leicester.
Yeah.
I think it's like the managers believing in him, his teammates are believing in him, and like the impact that he's made thus far, it's huge. And I feel like he's going to be quite a huge player on Sunday. We haven't really seen Almiron hit his stride yet compared to how he was last season. So he could be a star player as well. And then Bruno G. I mean, that guy. What a guy! What a player!
Yeah.
And with all of Liverpool's midfield issues right now, he's probably thinking, okay, this is my best chance yet. Like, let me try and get through this midfield and show my quality. And so yeah, those are my three players that I think I'm going to be looking out for.
Okay, interesting. Riyaz, what you
Yeah, I
got for
think
me?
also without McAllister, it's going to be difficult. I think that the midfield is going to boss the game. Especially, are they playing us in James Park? I think are they playing us in James Park? So it's going to be super interesting to see the midfield run there, because I think with Tonali and Bruno, they'll overrun them completely. They don't have currently. They have to play Curtis Jones and maybe Harvey Elliott or someone. I don't think they can go all out attack with Szoboszlai and Jota and Diaz and I don't think they can do that. They have to try and get some control in the game, even though they're going to struggle. So I actually think that this is going to be. I think we might see an upset. I think Newcastle are going to win this game somehow.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, just going to the point. I think McAllister's appeal was actually successful, right? So he could be available, but I mean, even
thank goodness, because that was a shock.
Yeah, that was also a bit of a shock. But I mean, that's one of those VAR referee sort of things that we should maybe just get Keith Hackett back on. But yeah, I think even with McAllister, I think you do make a good point. I think that midfield is key, and I think most of the games it is, right? But I think in this particular system where Liverpool are struggling in that spine, I think it will be interesting. It's going to be a lot of running with Tonali. I think Harvey Barnes gives you this ability to stretch, and then I think Isak also dropping in. He's got this lovely body feint. He's got good awareness, just when to drop on the shoulder, when to come for it, when to go long. He's got speed. He's got touches. He's got I think he's a really good striker for the system. I think while we might not have seen Almiron, similar to the Saka thing, Kieran Trippier last season bombed quite a bit and it freed Almiron. And now I don't think I've seen a lot of Kieran Trippier actually going forward. I don't know if he's maybe a bit more defensive minded to start. Maybe that cover thing isn't set up yet. Maybe with Tonali learning the whole system. So maybe that's also
two difficult games also. Aston Villa and City.
Also very true. Yeah, I mean, Kieran Trippier, I think the Villa game, who was it? He either had to mark, was it Diaby or was like Leon Bailey, which is quick. And then he's got City, where if you give City an inch, centimeter, they will thread a pass down your side in that gap, and it'll just be done for, isn't it? So yeah, I do want to agree with you. I do think Newcastle might cause, I'm going to say, upset in inverted commas. But yeah, I think it will be interesting. I know Liverpool have this thing where when they need to step up, they really can. So it will be a very interesting game. Yeah, AF, you had mentioned players and stuff, but what are your thoughts in terms of result just before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I think I'm going 2-1 Newcastle.
Okay.
I mean, all the points that I made before, I stand by them, like with those players. But I mean, playing in front of a stadium full of Geordies. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a 12th man if there were any.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's going to push them over the line. It's going to be a great game though.
No, for sure. And it's also bold as a Super Sunday, right? So we've got Sheffield against Man City. We've got Burnley against Villa. Once again, just shout out Burnley's admin team. These unveiling videos have literally kept me sane during the cold here in Cape Town. And yeah, they've just been doing bits. So actually shout out all sports admin, actually, because they've been doing well. But yeah, on that lovely note, that's where we ended for this week, guys. Thanks for joining me. Where can we find you guys? AF, what are your socials? Do we have anything? Are you on Friendster, Napster, MySpace?
Did we go back to 2005? What?
Well, yeah, it is, because I mean we have a Newcastle team that's actually strong, So yeah, maybe 2005.
Yeah, no. You can catch me at AF Parker 642 on all socials, Instagram, Twitter, actually X,
Yeah,
TikTok, everything. I have the same handle. So yeah.
Perfect. Riyaz.
Yeah, you can get me on Twitter at Parker_Riyaz.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. I'm at Jason_Ronnie. We are also at Sportycast. So yeah, please give us a follow, give us a mention. And yeah, as in the intro, please like, comment, subscribe. Send this to your mom. Let her send it on your WhatsApp groups. Put it on the community group chats. Any comment, any
family group chat.
Yeah, family group chat. I think if you need to gaslight people into watching it, we'll appreciate that as well, please. We don't advocate for real gaslighting. This is a fictional gaslighting. But yeah, thanks once again, gentlemen. Oops. I lost a bit of technology.
Some technical difficulties.
Because the joke was so good, man.
That's what happens when you try and advocate for gaslighting. Yeah, guys, thanks once again. Thanks for tuning in. And that was 343. Cheers.
Cheers.